Welcome back, leaders, to Empowering You, a strengths-based podcast for leaders of leaders. I'm your host, Dr. Shauna T. Sobers. And today, we're going to talk about intuition. Yes, that split-second gut feeling we all get sometimes. And today, we're going to pause and reflect on whether this feeling that we have is wisdom? Is it fear? Or could it be sometimes a trauma response in disguise? Gallup's research tells us that what followers need most from leaders are four things: trust, compassion, stability, and hope. And the truth is, these aren't just things we give to others. They're things we need to cultivate in ourselves. If we want to lead with clarity and courage, self-trust is often confused with instinct. And instinct isn't always wisdom. Sometimes it's just our nervous system remembering past pain. I want to share an example. A while back, I was invited to speak at a conference, the kind of room I had been preparing for my whole career. It was mission aligned, heart aligned, but my gut said no. I told myself it wasn't the right timing, that I needed more prep, that I should wait until I felt more ready. But the truth, it wasn't wisdom, it was fear. It was a freeze response, a trauma echo that whispered, "You're not good enough. You'll embarrass yourself. Better to stay safe." That gut feeling wasn't intuition. It was my nervous system in protection mode. And sometimes the coping mechanisms that we're using today are from another time. They were created to protect us once before, but now they might actually be holding us back. They're no longer protecting us. They may be hindering us from moving forward. This brings me to, again, my resilience tree model and the roots in particular. So the roots are what ground and nourish you. They're your values. They're those activities that bring you joy, that fill you up, that allow you to refuel and replenish. There are the identity affirming spaces where you have maybe common interests or common, certainly identities, right? The ways that you restore your energy. And then your branches. Your branches are those valued relationships, your collaborators, your mentors, your guardian angels, the people who lift you up higher than you could imagine going. They believe in you when you may doubt yourself. And they also know when to give you some shade and bring you back down when you get a little bit too high. They know how to challenge you in just the right ways to allow you to get to where you want to go to. Both of the roots and the branches require self-trust to grow. And self-trust takes discernment. Not every strong feeling is going to be a wise signal. Sometimes your body is remembering something that you went through that was really hard. Sometimes your mind is protecting you from a risk that only looks like what it did in the past, but it might not be that again. Sometimes your no is really a yes that just feels unfamiliar. So, the next time you're faced with a big decision, or even a small one that feels big, pause and ask yourself, am I grounded in my values right now? Or am I reacting from fear? Is this no rooted in wisdom, or is it a freeze, fight, flight, or fawn response? Is my gut telling me the truth or just trying to keep me safe? Trust isn't always about knowing the answer. It's about building a practice of pausing, checking in, and choosing with clarity. Sometimes fear isn't the enemy. It's a signal that wants to protect us. I was reminded of this while watching a Hallmark movie. In it, a dancer was learning to use aerial skills like the silks and things like that. She was terrified of letting go once she got up to the top of those ropes. And her instructor told her, okay, you know the steps that you need to take. You've done everything that we've practiced, right? Double check that you've done all of those things. And she was like, yep, did that. And he goes, okay, great. Then the next thing that you need to do is thank the fear. Thank the fear for keeping you safe. And then let go. And then she unraveled all the silks and fell perfectly because she had done all of the loops and the knots in just the right way. And that moment really stuck with me. I'm a visual learner, so I like to use examples to remind me of lessons learned. And this one was a beautiful metaphor of resilience. It's like reassuring your child self. It's like saying, I hear you. I know you're scared, but my current adult self will keep us safe and protect us from what we were fearful of before. That fear gets acknowledged, but it doesn't get the final say, right? So when we can tell the difference between our instinct and our insight, then we can lead with more stability. Because we're not tossed around by that fear, we're led with more trust. And then because we show up consistently and transparently, then we can lead also with more compassion. And because we give grace to our past selves and to others who are still in process, then we begin to lead with more hope. Because we choose growth over comfort, even when it's hard. I often think about that metaphor where there's a big circle and then there's a tiny circle. And people will say, where your growth is going to happen is when you get out of the comfort zone and you can really begin to grow. So that's what living the resilience tree looks like in action. This practice of pausing, of being in tune with the cues and the clues that your body and maybe your coping mechanisms are giving you, and to be able to recognize when that is telling you something different than wisdom, right? So I again mentioned the Resilience Tree model, a book, a model for women leaders of color, and a book that's on sale now. If you resonated with the idea of the roots and the branches helping you to build that resiliency, then that's going to be a really helpful book to walk you along other examples like that so that you can then begin to build that resilience tree for yourself. Or maybe you're reading it to be able to help others, and that's a beautiful thing too. So it's for those of us navigating leadership with lived experience, generational wisdom, and deep-rooted brilliance. Now you can order your book at shaunaTsobers.com/books. And I'll leave you with this, some thoughts for you to ponder or journal or discuss if you're with a group. How do you tell the difference between your gut saying, this isn't safe, and your fear saying, this feels hard, but doable? I'd love to hear from you and how you're navigating this. So certainly drop a comment, share your wisdom, share your experience, share your stories. Thank you for tuning in to Empowering You, a strengths-based podcast for leaders of leaders with me, Dr. Shauna T. Sobers. I hope this episode inspired and equipped you to step boldly into your leadership journey. Together, let's build a community of empowered leaders, lifting each other up. Until next time, remember to lead with strengths, live with purpose, and always empower you. And if you found value in today's topic, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast with others who could benefit from the insights and encouragement we share here in the Empowerment You community. Mahalo.